Hey everybody, you are tuned in to the When You See Love podcast, where we discuss all things love, marriage, and everything in between. I'm your host, Kamille, and by my side forever and always is my lovely co-host and husband, Snaxx.
What up? What up? What up? What up?
Hey, you know what? I'ma just be real with everybody. I am trying so hard not to laugh doing this intro. Guys, Snaxx has really... he is quality control when it comes to this podcast. And it took us about 10 minutes to set up because I'm not talking directly into the mic. Or I'm not sitting upright. You can't chew gum, Kamille.
Because last time... I had to edit all the, audio and whatnot, and your levels were everywhere because you were bouncing around when you were recording.
I'm sorry. I'm very animated, and
okay.
Sorry, guys.
I just had to, not even correct, just advice. So it'd make my job easier.
I want to apologize to Nick, which is Snaxx's business partner.
Nobody care about Nick.
Snaxx is really quality control, and I am just floored. I'm floored.
Because there's things that people don't think about, and I got to think about it.
Well, guys, I'm sorry if that intro was a little shaky. I was trying not to laugh because Snaxx is just too funny, so...
Whatever.
So, okay, before we get started, we want our audience to know that we are not marriage counselors, therapists. We don't have all the answers. We're newlyweds. We're just trying this thing out. We thought it would be cool to use this platform to talk about our journey, hoping that it can resonate with someone out there and, hopefully inspire.
Hopefully.
So, yeah.
But again, if it does not...
Shoulder shrugs. That's not for me. That is from Snaxx.
Yeah.
You guys know I'm still on my journey with working on not caring about what other people think so much. So you guys know that shoulder shrug
Again,
is
it's not
definitely
that I
not
don't
from
care. I care about everybody. I'm a loving person. It's just
it don't make you.
I can't control everything.
Mind.
No, I can't control everything. But I can't control whether or not you're talking on the mic.
I know, but I want to say something. It doesn't look like you're speaking directly into the microphone, mister. Make sure you sitting up.
Okay. Like I said, last time you were not even at the table anymore when you were talking.
I'm sorry. I thought we were just chilling, having a little convo, but Snaxx is cracking the whip.
But these things are in order to record the convo perfectly or as best as possible, we need to be right here on the mic.
I just don't remember signing up for this.
You did. Well, you did when you put your ring on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know what? Before we play our game, I just wanted to humbly say thank you guys for listening to our podcast. We've gotten so many encouraging words and, just so much love. And you guys don't have to listen, but you do. And it really makes us feel very warm and grateful and, really happy that people are gleaning something from our podcast. So we really appreciate you guys.
Yep. Makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to enjoy it as much, and then hearing the feedback.
Let me cut you off real quick. Speaking of enjoying, like I said, Kamille was not thirsty. Well, she was kind of thirsty to do this podcast, but she was against it for the most part. But when I tell you she's played the podcast at least
Why you gotta call me out?
30 to 50 times, it's ridiculous. Because she used to call me out whenever, especially when I first started doing videography and I started getting into freelance work. Whenever I did anything creative, she would be I would play it back hella times just to make sure, I did this right, I did that right. I would try to look at it from the viewer's eyes and not my eyes and whatnot. And I would do that hella times. And she would be like, "Are you watching it again? You over there watching your video again?" And then when we did this podcast, she was the same exact way. It was crazy.
Because especially after people listened to it, I wanted to kind of hear what they might have heard, from their ears.
Yeah, that's what I used to say. I just want to see, what they would.
What I understand. Yeah. Okay. So we got all the housekeeping things out of the way. So
look at our housekeeping.
Isn't that what they say?
Yes, I guess so. I don't know.
Okay, and I do want to apologize, guys, for chewing gum. It is a very bad habit of mine.
You got gum in right now?
I continued to eat the gum after you told me that I couldn't. Yes,
disrespectful.
I did, Earl. I really did. Because my mouth was a little dry, so I just figured, So, quality control. I know.
Hey, all I can say is, I tried, y'all. I tried.
I'm sorry. I won't next time. Okay. So, do you want to play our game?
Yeah.
Okay. I can quickly explain it if you're new here. This game is called I Would, But You Would Never. So, basically, you just say one thing that you know for sure that you would, that your partner would never. And honey, you can start because I think I went first last time.
I think so. I can go first. I don't care. Which one? I got some good ones. I ain't gonna lie. I got a little list.
Pull them out.
All right, I'm gonna go with this one. So, for those who know, I feel like a lot of people probably don't even know, but I've been trying to dodge the curse of being bald that my dad has bestowed upon, my family and whatnot. So, for like the past year, I've decided just not to cut my hair. I'm just growing my hair out. Mm-hmm. And while doing that, like I've been trying to figure out like natural ways of taking care of my hair and whatnot and all that and different products,
Rose
and things
eyes.
like that. Yeah. So I would, in this hair journey of mine, I would buy a product that I find online that I think may, improve my curls or a deep conditioner. I'll try it out right now because I'm still new in the game. Mm-hmm. Kamille would never. She would never. At this point, she's like it was funny. I saw this Instagram post. It was showing like different type of natural girls through their process, and it was like the lazy natural girl. It was the expert natural girl. It was the all natural product type natural girl. And Kamille just perfectly fit the description of the lazy natural girl.
You're disrespectful.
The picture was like Issa Rae in like a braided up protective style. And I was like, this is my wife. Like,
and it's so funny because like now that I'm seeing you going through this journey, I'm like, I was there literally, I guess 5 years ago because I didn't do the big chop. I transitioned.
I didn't do the big chop either.
You didn't. Oh my gosh, whatever. Look at me trying to agree. But so I transitioned and I was so thirsty for all these products, buying. And then they didn't work. And I went out and I was stressed and I would buy more and this, that, and the third. My hair ain't coming out right. I got to redo a wash and go.
I be watching YouTube videos and they be like,
you get sucked in.
Man, it's tough. It's tough.
And don't do a whole wash and go for 4 hours and then you got product residue. You got to wash it out and start all over. I'm done with it. I just don't do it anymore.
I mean, now I'm slowly transitioning into like the lazy natural person.
Because you found some things that work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Recently, all I've been doing is it's just the wash the hair, deep condition the hair, let it sit for a little bit. Take that out, throw some leave-in in, and call it a day. Shout out to my mama, because that's all you have to do. That's really all I need. Yeah.
And if that's all I had to do, I might be a little bit more, invested. But what's crazy is, so I cut my hair in 2018 at the end. I went to Snaxx's barbershop and they cut it off for me. And then, because I was just over it.
That wasn't your big chop, though.
That was my first time cutting all my hair off ever. So I guess that was like my big chop because I had transitioned prior.
She had the 360 waves, so she was trying to.
I completely like cut it off. And then.
I am not my hair.
Oh, gosh. Literally, that's how I was feeling. And I was like, people are probably thinking I'm like stressed out or something, but I was just like doing my hair. You were
thinking that. I thought it looked good. Everybody you saw thought that it looked good on you.
Well, it was kind of like a weird shape, and like once it started growing back out, I wasn't feeling it.
The only thing I would say, it wasn't weird. It was just different seeing you with that style. The way your head is shaped in general. I have a big head. You didn't ask our barber to give you like what they call like a soft lining, I think.
See, I don't know, but he had the nerve to try to cut some of my edges off.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was in the wrong for that. Wait a minute. They are already limited. Please.
On their last breath.
Please don't do that to me. No. Yeah. So when it started growing back out, it was growing back out in like a weird shape. And so I asked Snaxx to just cut it all off for me because... So I got it cut again last year in May.
You went to the barbershop first? And
in December.
I cut it off the second time?
Yes.
Damn.
Yep. So then you cut it off last year in May.
And I did a terrible job.
A horrible job. And I have not gotten it fixed, but it has grown tremendously since there. And I have not really put
it was
a lot of...
like the things I did. It was my process.
We could, sure.
Yeah.
If you want to. If you want
that's
to go
what allowed the growth.
There. What I think has really helped me grow my hair is I just let it do its thing. I wasn't doing a whole bunch of extra treatments and this and that and 50,000 wash and goes. I just literally let it grow. And in 1 year, it has really grown back fast.
Same.
Snaxx be hating.
I mean, you be hating. At this point, we were kind of like racing to see who's
he be hating on my growth.
I think she got me right now. I think she got me. That's because I was thirsty to like, put different products and whatnot in my hair. But recently, like you put some braids in.
I don't mean to interrupt, sir, but can I move this?
Yeah.
Thanks. Guys, I'm trying not to get popped.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, my hair has been growing. I feel like after you put those braids in, and I just said whatever, just let it do what it does. Especially because we're quarantining right now, so
yes, it's perfect time to just let your hair just be whatever it wants to be.
Let it do its thing. So yeah, my hair has kind of been growing. I still got a few patches I want to work on,
but you're so very right. I don't like online shopping anyways because I'm kind of old school. I need to see what it is, but I'm definitely Snaxx spent like $20-something on a deep condition.
I did. I will say though,
I said I know you lying.
Damn near wants to buy it again. It works so well,
but it was a small amount, and I have very thick hair.
I've used it 3 times so far, and I probably still got like half a bottle left.
But I feel like our hair types, my hair is a lot thicker than yours.
Yes, I don't need all that,
and I need a lot of product, and I just can't see myself spending.
It don't get to the root.
Exactly. You're trying to be funny.
It don't penetrate.
I need somebody to talk to Snaxx because Snaxx low-key got a little bit of some type of discrepancy when it comes to hair types.
I don't.
He's new to this, so
I don't. I mean, you've taught me, the different textures and whatnot.
And that it's not okay to say somebody has good hair and someone else does not. That is not okay.
If you say so.
Snaxx is rude. He's so rude.
If you say so.
But that's a good one, and especially now where I'm at in my hair journey, I'm not spending all that type of money. I'm not investing into being stressed if it doesn't work. Yeah. I found some things that work for my hair, and they're very old school. Yeah. Too, some old products. I still kind of use grease too. So.
Yeah, like it used to be. If y'all could see her, like in her closet, she has like all her products just laying out. It's damn near like a beauty supply store up in there. There's hella products that she used once and realized it wasn't what it was, and just kept it pushing. But I'm not that bad yet. I don't think I'm gonna get that bad.
But you know what I think is also kind of cool? What products that don't work for me, they usually will work for Snaxx's hair type, and so he usually just will come in and pick out. Yeah.
But I'm above all that now.
Well, he used to. He used to.
Definitely. So. As I am, leave-in conditioner
and water is what he uses
and
now.
H2O is all I need.
Wow, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yep. So
what do you have?
Okay, let me get it because I think mine is also
you got a good one?
I think so. I couldn't pick between two.
Yeah, I got a good one for next week.
I'll save this other one. So I would send my food back at a restaurant if the order was not about the rice.
Every black woman though.
But you wouldn't though. No. I don't think that's a black woman thing. I think that's if you want your food.
That is really like a stereotype of black women though. I don't know.
That's you. That's your perspective on that.
I've seen like videos about it on social media and whatnot. Like it's a thing. If y'all don't like y'all food, it's going back.
Okay, well I have another one then.
No, I mean that one works. It's true. If I don't like, first off, I rarely ever go to a restaurant, order something, and I think it's nasty anyway. I've been in that situation before, and I'm just the nice guy. I'm like, man, it's, they tried.
But when you're paying for something,
yeah,
maybe it is somewhat of my fault because I do have like a lot of dietary restrictions. I'm gluten free.
That's another thing. So you almost have to add that as an asterisk, babe. Like, yeah, granted, sometimes things you get aren't of the right or whatnot, aren't that good. Mm-hmm. But you also ask for hella modifications to those orders.
I sure do.
Can you remove that? Can you remove this?
They
can you
said
add that
they can accommodate, so I thought they could accommodate.
Nah, and then when you get it back, you're like,
what in the world? And it's so funny because when I get my food and it's not right, Snaxx can like sense it. He knows immediately that it's about to go down.
It's like her eyes turn red or something. And then she's always just like she has a fork and she's just stirring the food around.
I pick at it because then I'm just like, okay, well.
And then she asks for my food
because I don't want to be the one that complains, and
that's a lie.
I complain to you, but I don't want to be a jerk to the.
You don't want to be that black girl,
the waitress or the waiter.
They're already scared of you.
Exactly. And I don't want to give them any reason to, whatever, elevate that thought. Mm-hmm. So I just complain to you, and then eventually you give me your food, and, then later on that night we're both hungry. So
yeah. Or you'll try to like, hey, can you just let them know that?
Yeah, I do. I try to get you to ask because you're sweet. And I'm not saying I'm not sweet, but
I'm not even the right one to do it. I would damn it. My approach is, hey, do y'all mind if y'all
see, you have to be firm. You have to be firm
exactly.
in what you ask for.
Like whenever we get a DoorDash order that's wrong.
Bun, and this is full of gluten. Do you want my wife to fall out
die
from an allergy attack? From an allergy reaction? Do you want her to fall out? You want her throat to close up? That's what you want? You have to be firm in what you ask for when you have to change your order. I'm
Facts.
a pro at this.
Facts.
And you have to be really, calm and sweet. And I know it probably
it's hard
was
to
a
be
mistake.
calm and sweet and demanding at the same time.
No, like, hey, I did ask for a gluten-free, bun, but this seems to have wheat in it.
But y'all got my food wrong.
I don't want to cause any problems, but do you think it's okay if I could just get the entire order remade? Because I'm not eating this.
And I ain't paying for this. Throw the plate around. Throw the whole table up.
So that was mine.
Okay. That's a good one. Because like I said, I've been in that situation before, and I'm just like, whatever, bro. Mm-hmm. It was because usually, like I said, if I go to a restaurant, another issue you have when you go to restaurants, you skim.
Who is you? You talking to me?
Yes. You skim the menu. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. I might want that. Maybe if I take that out or whatever, all that. Me, I look at the menu, and literally the first thing that just pops out at me is usually what I get. He goes
with it.
And it
and 95%. It's always a good choice.
Yeah.
Snaxx it drives me crazy. He never gets like a bad order.
No.
Even if he's trying something new for the first time, it's always the best.
For the most part. Like I said, that I rarely ever run into that situation where I just get something it's just disgusting.
It's nasty.
Honestly, the last time I remember was maybe that curry dish I got that one time.
Oh yeah. Yep, you didn't like that.
Nah, they had to take that back.
But you know what? Now I kind of want Snaxx to choose my food. Yeah. I've gotten into that. Like, okay, these are the couple options that I'm kind of feeling. Which one do you think sounds the best? And it usually works because he never picks like a bad.
Yeah, pre-quarantine before we used to actually go out. It was my advice all the time, man. Just go with your heart.
I know.
Just pick what you.
We're foodies. We love food.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Too much. So that was a good one.
Okay.
I think we both. We're pretty accurate with those.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want to just jump right into the topic?
To the topic of the day. Yeah, so we're just continuing on with our,
chronological
order of our relationship. And,
yes. Yep, and this topic.
So, the first one was.
So we talked about how we met.
Yeah, how we met. Then our first issue, quote unquote issue.
Yes. This whole waiting until marriage to have relations.
Yep.
And now we're going to talk about religious differences.
Yeah.
So.
Those were fun.
This should be a very interesting one.
That was almost more of an issue than the sex thing.
Oh yeah, this was going to determine whether we were going to get married or not.
Facts, yeah. So, not even married, just whether we're going to be able to like continue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost like tenfold,
tenfold. Mm-hmm. Tenfold.
Well, yeah, we can dive right into it. So.
Yeah. I guess we should talk about the first time that we realized that we had religious differences.
True.
A lot of you may know my husband's last name or our last name to be Haley, but in actuality, his last name is Haley Israel.
Yeah, because my parents are.
So that's the first time I was like, oh, your last name is Israel. That's very interesting.
Odd.
That's very odd because, and guys, I had no knowledge about any, what he believed in at that time. And I was like, but you black.
How did you did I tell you that? Because I don't.
Because I used to be like, Israel, what up? I used to call him that.
I'm trying to think, like, did I tell you?
I think we were in the library one time, and
because it's on my ID, but I never put it on like any of my like school documents.
And I must have seen it. I don't know, but we were at the library and we brought up the fact that your last name was Israel, and I was like, that is very odd. And then you kind of
ran with it.
Snaxx is so, like I said, he's not a talker anyways, and when it comes to like, this is not a controversial topic, but when it comes to something like religion, he's not really going to go that deep.
Not
at least that's how I
yeah.
felt.
Yeah.
When I asked you about it.
Because I'm assuming at that time I knew your religious beliefs, so I knew if you figured out, my last name is Israel, it would be like a record scratch.
Yes,
like,
yes. And before we got together, I remember that December when I went home to celebrate Christmas with my family, I told my mom that your last name was Israel.
This is so we met in December.
Yes, and like 2 weeks later when I went home,
you already knew at that time I didn't celebrate Christmas.
That you didn't celebrate Christmas.
I probably told you then my last name.
Something was fishy.
Something was different about this nigga. I don't know what it.
This black man's last name is Israel, and he doesn't celebrate Christmas. My mama she said, girl, you better get up out there, run for the hill.
Yeah. So it had to be early. You had to figure that out early. Yeah. Very early. Something was different. You didn't know exactly
was very different.
I'm assuming surface level, you knew I went to church on Saturday.
Right. And then I figured that out. Like, you're like, well, I go to church on Saturday, and you talking about you don't celebrate, Christmas, and then your last name is Israel. And I said, somebody fix it. Yeah. What's happening?
Yeah. So, quick background story. What was your religious belief at that time in 2012?
Entering freshman year of college, I belonged to a Christian Methodist Episcopal church, which is very similar to an African Methodist Episcopal church. It's not that much different from like Baptist churches or anything like that. But so that was the church I affiliated with. I was a Christian, went to church on Sundays, celebrated Easter and Christmas, all of that stuff. Yeah. And
you're everyday Christian.
Yes. And as we already kind of talked about earlier, this was something that was very, very important to me.
Oh, super.
My Christianity, my relationship with God, all of that was very, very important. And just a little bit of background of that that semester. Prior to me meeting Snaxx, I had found a church home, air quotes, in Bloomington. And I remember really asking God to like challenge my faith. I do remember this.
What's the name of that church?
I went to City Church for everybody that went to, IU.
Shout out to Pastor Dave. Was it?
I think his name was Pastor Dave.
Pastor Blue Jeans.
My mom called him Pastor Blue Jeans because he did wear blue jeans to church, and my mom's very old school, very Methodist. You don't show up to the Lord's house in no blue jeans now. So I went to that church, and I remember really praying actually with some of my friends and just asking God, I feel like I want to change. I need a change. I feel stagnant. That's what it was. I felt stagnant in my faith, and I wanted to grow. And then A couple of months later, I met Emmanuel.
Here comes me. Hey, what's your belief?
So that was my. That's where I was at. So, babe, do you want to just discuss or disclose?
So that's your background in
that's
2012.
My background.
At 2012, at the time, also a Christian. But by popular belief, many people don't really think we're Christians because of my religious belief. Like, again, I go to church on Saturday. Mm-hmm. I was attending a church in Chicago, Israel of God. Mm-hmm. So again, my religious belief was completely opposite of Kamille's at the time.
I had never heard of this. I had heard of like Seventh-day Adventists, and one of my really good friends, Vardia. Can you guys? I wonder if you guys could hear that. But anyways, I'm sorry. One of my really good friends, Vardia, she is a Seventh-day Adventist.
Mm-hmm. Another religion that my belief gets confused over, or our belief gets confused over.
Mm-hmm. And so I knew or had heard of people that went to church on Saturdays. So when you told me that, I wasn't like, too like, oh, that's, I ain't never heard of that before,
Yeah, but do they celebrate Christmas? I can't remember.
So some, from my understanding, and forgive me for you guys out there who are Seventh-day Adventists, but for my understanding, some don't, and then some do celebrate Christmas. Yeah. I have friends of both. So, yeah.
But so at the time, meeting someone whose last name is Israel, who goes to church on Saturday,
right?
They don't eat pork, none of that.
And you don't celebrate Christmas.
Don't celebrate Easter.
Something ain't right. That's where I was at.
Something is strange about this one.
I really like him. He's very kind. However, he doesn't celebrate Christmas, and I don't know about that. I can't
get no Christmas gifts.
Yeah, I ain't getting no gift. So that was very different, and I think that early we realized that we had, different religious beliefs for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was the background. 2012. That was, even then, early on. It wasn't a huge conflict in our relationship because we were young. It was just, you do this, I do that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. I feel like it didn't get serious until maybe like 6 months to a year of being in the relationship and realizing, oh, okay, I actually really like this person. Maybe this might turn into something. So maybe we gotta figure out something because clearly our religious beliefs are just on two complete different sides of the spectrum. So that's where that started at.
And to add to that, if you don't mind, I don't know if it was 6 months, but I know at some point in our relationship, we both agreed that.
Yeah, it might have been earlier than 6 months, but
it might. I'm not sure, but I know we both agreed that we did not want to raise a family with two different religious beliefs.
Well, Kamille's stern.
I am very stern.
It ain't gonna happen.
It's not going to happen because I grew up in my family. My dad was Catholic and my mom, she's Methodist. Yeah. And it wasn't a problem, but I naturally went with my mother's faith.
Yeah.
I did go to a Catholic school for my grade school and things like that. But my mom was just like, this is what you take from that school and this is what you leave at the door. So
yeah. And I think at the time, so not saying that I also didn't have that same approach to our future. Of course, I would want to raise our kids in the same religious, household or same religious belief. But at that time, it was still super early. So,
and I'm very extra.
So a lot of our disagreements stemmed from her being like,
very
we got to figure this out right now. My approach was like, we have to figure it out, but it won't just happen right now.
He's so patient.
You gotta be, especially considering, because our religious beliefs are very important to both of us,
right?
So it would be almost ridiculous for either one of us to be like, hey, we need to figure this out now. I know you've been doing this your whole life, but we gotta figure this out right now,
or we ain't
getting married, which marriage was not even a real thing at the time.
Right.
So that's where a lot of the disagreements came from early. And I wouldn't even call them disagreements. It was just,
it was kind of like something that was looming.
Yeah, it was something over our relationship. Everything else, for the most part, I mean, you had sex looming,
right?
And you had religion looming over our relationship early on.
Yeah, I do agree. I agree about that, and especially the approaches, because I am and still am. At that time, I was very anal and kind of like, you know, I was a planner. And so if we're taking this seriously, there's no point of us continuing.
But that was the crazy part, because it's like, nigga, we've been dating for 6 months.
Well, it felt like forever. I'm sorry.
We gotta figure this out.
I saw a very bright future for us, and I was just like, you know what? We gotta nip this in the bud. So,
especially at that time, even now, like we kind of have, not even like boasting our relationship or anything like that. We rarely have conflicts or arguments and whatnot. And when we finally started talking about religion, it seemed like we were having these.
It was tense.
Yeah, it was just tense all the time. Tense. And me being who I am, I'm like, man, I don't want to be in these tense situations. Like,
Snaxx is very like low key, and I am very, I'm just gonna say the word passionate about things that I believe in. Very passionate. And so this kind of goes into nicely, because when we really were like, okay, let's try to figure out something, my approach was, I have never heard, you know, anything that you're bringing to the table regarding like these different religious beliefs. You need to show me in the Bible what you're talking about, because you're not going to sway me.
No,
I love you.
Not about just a conversation, no.
I love you very much, but you aren't worth my salvation.
And that was the interesting part, because it showed me at that time, again, I was 18, 19, that I didn't know anything. Like I knew I knew the basics of my religious belief, but of course at that age, when you were going to church, when you were younger, you were going to church because A, your parents made you, right. B, you were scared of your parents, and you know, like
you didn't have a choice.
It wasn't a personal choice. It was like, all right, it's what my family's doing. Not to say that I didn't believe in what we were being taught or whatnot. It's just I didn't know enough to be in that conversation with you at the time.
And I am here on the same. I understand exactly what you're saying, for you. That was me too.
No, you were damn near the opposite though.
Okay. Go ahead.
Not to say, I just don't think you were quite on my level. I think you were above me in terms of how strongly you felt about your religion. Not saying I didn't feel strongly about my religion, but you were.
I was on fire, guys.
Yeah, you were in it.
I was on fire for Jesus at that time.
And that's saying a lot, because even at that time, I was also in it.
Yes.
In my religion, but you were like.
And you know what? It's interesting that you say that, but I think it's because of the church that I grew up in. So I'll kind of talk about it later on in the podcast, but it is one reason why I'm forever grateful for my journey when it comes to like, you know, this entire thing with the Lord, because my church instilled that kind of like passion into me. You are very passionate with the Lord. This is how you worship him.
Praise.
This is
praise.
Yeah. That was all that I knew. And so,
and we're opposite.
And you guys are the opposite. Yeah. You guys are the book. Like this scripture, 2 hours long of reading. Like,
it was like class.
It's like night and yes. Yeah. You guys were like class, and we were more like, I don't know.
It was feelings.
Feelings. And so I'm grateful now that I have a balance of both.
Yeah. I'm still working on the praise part.
You see? So, yeah. So when we kind of realized, okay, let's try our hand at trying to understand one another's religious perspectives, we decided to have Bible study together. And it did not go well. It did not go well at all. It went bad.
That's because at the time, again, I didn't know much about, you know, my religious belief. And
you just weren't able, if I were to ask you a question, you couldn't pull it up right then and there.
And then I would damn near go to Google.
And I'm like, stupid. Well, I know you lying. You over here Googling.
Yeah. So again, at that age, I was not prepared for this type of.
For me, you were not prepared for me, boo.
Warfare. Like it was wasn't prepared. So yeah, a lot of those conversations would start with, you know, why do you believe that, or why do you do this? And I would. Of course, like I said, at that time, I would have a scripture or two in my head.
And he would ask me questions, and I did not have any scripture to back it up.
That would be the what got you, though. I'll be like, so why do you, why do you do this?
That would stump me. And if we can share this experience when we were trying to do Bible study, and this is one thing that kind of swayed me to learning more about Snaxx's religion and ultimately believing the same. But he would ask me questions and I had nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
That was biblical. Not
because
not
this
man-made.
was Bible study at the time.
Right, this was Bible study. Not necessarily man-made or by the ordinances of man or whatever. I had nothing really to back up some of these very important, topics of conversation when it comes to the word and how we are to live our lives as Christians. But for some reason, Snaxx did. When he found them.
Yeah.
When he would go back, maybe ask his parents, gather the data and the evidence.
Yeah.
He did.
But it was there. I just had to find it. Yeah, I just had to find it.
So during these Bible studies, I remember one in particular, I think we were in my dorm, and I remember it vividly. It was junior year. I think it was junior year of college, and we were like, okay, we've been together at this point for probably like 2 years now. Let's try this. And we had Bible study, and I was flustered because I could not really support some of the reasons why I did some of the things, religiously with the book, with the Bible. I just couldn't. And then Snaxx, were showing me these things, and I was just like, I've never learned these things before, ever. Like, what are you talking about? And I was so flustered. And naturally, when Kamille gets flustered, she cries. I mean, I just break. So it ended with me running out of my dorm room. I ran down the stairs, and I was like crying on the side of the...
It was bad.
And then Snaxx like, okay, maybe we, we'll be done for today.
Yeah. That's when I knew like that approach,
that might not be the approach for us.
It's not gonna be it.
Because I'm so strong-headed. At that time, I was very strong into what I was doing. And I'm sorry, you're not going to sway me.
No. And that was also
he wasn't even trying to sway me.
That's the thing. Sway isn't even the word. It was just, I wanted you to understand me and where I was coming from and why I also, wouldn't be easily swayed, quote unquote. So at that time, it was just too,
that wasn't
not even stubborn. It was just two strong-headed people not going for anything.
And that just wasn't the approach.
Yeah, it was just we were going to butt heads no matter what.
You had some patience though, because
gotta have. So anybody in that situation, somebody has to have patience.
Exactly.
Maybe not both people, but somebody
has to.
Because if both of you guys don't, it's a wrap.
Yeah. You're going to continue to, and actually I'm not even saying that you can't be in a relationship with someone that has religious differences. If that's what works for you.
Yeah, it's patience. It's
patience
and understanding.
And understanding. It's just to add to it, it's also more like, okay, for this particular like relationship, what do we see working best for us? Are we the type of couple that can still flourish in a healthy way, even though we have religious differences?
Yeah.
That answer was going to be no at the time for me, because
hell no.
No, it's just not, because I was thinking very futuristic, and it was really about my children.
Yep. That was another big one.
It was really about my children that did not exist at the time.
At the time, I just disagreed with it all, because it's like, we're not there.
We're not
yet.
Engaged.
Not
Girl,
even
I ain't
close.
Say I wanted to marry you.
This is 2 years into our relationship. I'm 21.
But that's just how I think.
She's 20. You can't even have a drink yet.
I know.
You talking to me about
but
kids
that's just
and
to
religion.
Me. And I think, and even growing up, my parents' religious differences didn't really butt heads or anything, but it was just kind of weird going to a Catholic school, but then being Methodist, realizing you don't necessarily agree. And it got to a point where in 4th grade, I think they were trying to like introduce the rosary, and I had to memorize it. And at that point, my mom was just like, we gonna put you into public school now. We ain't gonna be about it no longer. It was nice. We gonna do something different. And so, those are just what I came to the relationship with. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, we not gonna be doing, we ain't gonna be doing that. So
and my kids
can't celebrate Christmas.
We not even having relations at the time, and she talking about kids.
I'm sorry.
It was ridiculous. So yeah, that literally sums up about 3 years of our relationship until the breaking point was shout out to Sean.
Yes, can we take a moment? I would love to just shed some beautiful light on one of my good friends. And that's
legit.
Sister.
That's legit the switch.
That was the switch. So Snaxx has a best friend named Eli.
He cool.
And Eli, at the time, was dating someone named Sean. And it's so funny because both Sean and I went to the same church. We went to City Church, and I knew Sean before I even really met, like, Eli and like your friend group. Like, I knew of Sean because we were both in this Impact. We were both in Impact, which was like a religious organization, a Christian organization for students on campus, and we would gather once a week or twice a week and would have Bible study and things like that. So I met Sean there, and then when she expressed the interest of wanting to praise dance, and I loved praise dancing too, and so we kind of just connected that way. But then later on down the road, she ended up dating my boyfriend's best friend, and which is crazy to me. And so from that,
it was like y'all became like a tag team religious tent.
Man, she was like, well, we're both Christian, we both think this way, and they doing that. So, but what is
they ain't eating no pork.
They ain't eating pork. They telling us we can't get this no pepperoni pizza. What's happening? So we kind of got together and was just like, okay. For me, it was tough kind of working through that with Snaxx because. And another thing, I didn't want to necessarily change the way that I believed in the Bible or my relationship with God based on a man. That was very important to me too. I wanted to make sure that my lens was clear and I wasn't blinded by love, Because like I said earlier,
which is a big part of it.
It's a very big part.
If you're that type of person, that's a very big part of it.
My salvation was very important to me. And so having Sean next to me was just like awesome because we were both in the same boat. We were both dating guys that were in the same religion that grew up together. It was more than just like, college best friends. They grew up together, So we were like, okay, well, let's you and I have a Bible study. Let's not look at it through the lens of how we both, our own backgrounds. And let's not look at it out the lens of their background or, how they believe. Me and Sean had Bible studies at the library, renting books, renting historical books.
It was every Sabbath. Y'all had it like Friday night.
We did. So we switched it up from what I remember. And I hate that we don't do this anymore. I suck. School took over my life. But we used to really do it a lot on Monday nights. And then we would kind of like hit each other up, around Friday to Saturday because that was this thing called the Sabbath. We had never really, taken a part of. But we would do Bible studies and, like I said, getting historical books from the library. And it was so crazy because I started presenting things to Snaxx like, have you ever heard of the goddess of Ishtar? And he would kind of be like, I ain't really heard about, no goddess of Ishtar.
I have, but it wasn't like, I didn't research.
Exactly.
Because I've never been in that situation where I had to. You didn't have to.
No. That's why everybody has like a different journey when it comes to, their relationship, with God and all of that. And so I just thought it was crazy, while I was learning things, I was also sharing them with Snaxx, and he was learning things about why, that confirmed why he did what he was doing.
It was like confirmation for everything for me.
Confirmation. And it was very eye-opening to me because I love to learn things, and so while I'm in the library, I'm literally looking at things that weren't written by people of, Hebrew Israelites. They weren't written by Hebrew Israelites or anything like that. They weren't written by, people of that faith. They were written by historians. They were written by European people. And these were facts that I could then line up with my Bible and say, and it was so crazy to me because when I grew up in the word, or grew up, at church, it's crazy now I'm saying the word, but when I grew up at church, I believed in God, but a lot of the stories in the Bible to me, they felt very mythical, and sometimes I felt like I couldn't relate. They seemed so far away from me.
Yeah, it was your moment of like,
that was my moment, like, this is real. This is real. This stuff happened. These people existed, you know? And so that to me was moving. And so me and Sean just kept going. We kept going. And then eventually we were like, okay, we kind of, you know, we like what you guys have been doing.
I guess.
Here.
Y'all know black women don't want to.
You know, when you mentioned that in the book of Revelation,
I know when you first told me, I wasn't really.
It moved me. When you brought up Jeremiah and it was talking about the tree, I
get it now.
It kind of stung a little. And so, you know, that's what it was. And we continued. And then eventually Snaxx and I started to observe the Sabbath together, which was very new in our relationship, because the entire time that we had been in a relationship, we was doing our thing on the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? We weren't, you know, observing the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, again, at that time, I wouldn't say we were doing our thing, but it wouldn't be like a concerted effort on my part to make you observe the Sabbath, or
which I
like
appreciate, because that wouldn't have worked.
No,
that wouldn't have worked.
So if you came over my house and I didn't have to, you know, do anything on a Saturday, I wouldn't be like, hey, you can't watch no TV over here. You can't, you know, you can't do none of that over here.
Right. Which I appreciate, because I'm glad that over time you grew to learn who I am and realize that method doesn't work for me for anything. When people pressure me, that makes me just like, nah.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Nick. So I hate Nick anyway. So maybe like 2-3 years into our relationship, me, Nick, and I think Eli were having a conversation about, like, you know, just dating and things that come up, and, you know, a lot of religious things that come up while dating.
Yeah.
So I want to say at the time, Nick might have just got out of a relationship. I can't remember, but one of the main reasons why was because of their religious differences, I think. And then he was asking me, like, you know, so have you and Kamille, like, you know, figured it out yet? Excuse me. And then I was like, no, not yet, bro. Like, you know, we're still working on it. He's like, what? Like,
drop her.
Yeah, you got to get rid of her, bro.
Y'all not toxic.
Yeah. Y'all not gonna work out if y'all ain't figured it out in 3 years. I don't know, bro. You gotta put your foot down. I'm just like, man, it's not as simple as that. Like, it's not day one, I do this, now you gotta do that.
That's not how it goes. And like I said, different, you know, strokes for different folks, but that wasn't going to work for me, because I was determined not to. This was my journey, and I needed to figure this out for myself.
And you didn't want to be that stereotype. Oh, she's only doing that.
She's only doing it because her man. And I know a lot of people think that, and that is fine if they do. But I know.
Shoulder stroke.
I know my truth, and I know the work that I put into it, and I know the I'm not gonna say the convictions, but I know that I was like, okay, this is something that I enjoy learning about. I have never viewed the Bible through these.
Yeah, you turned it into schoolwork, nerd.
I'm sorry. It was so fun. It was just so fun. Like, literally, like, you at the library, like I'm saying, you just seeing all these different books and these maps, and then figuring out who you are. We don't have to get into that, but just
I've been trying not to go too deep.
I know, but that.
I just wanted it to be
I'm
like
just
a
gonna say that,
level.
and if you know what I'm talking about, then you do, and you know. But figuring out who you are, that connected me even more, you know. And so I was just so happy and elated with it, and so I don't think. And go ahead.
I was just saying, and that was kind of the end of it.
That was really kind of the end of it.
It was like this long process, or this long cloud that's been over in our relationship for 3-4 years, kind of just went away overnight. And it was like, it was crazy. It was crazy to just see it happen, and like see the growth and the process, and like to where we are now, where it's like almost thinking about it now makes you laugh, to, you know, just all the arguments or the disagreements that we had, to a point now it's like.
Yep. And I am really grateful, and it's so funny because, well, not funny, but I always said that even if Snaxx and I broke up, I would still be very grateful to him for this. And I would still choose to, live my spiritual life in this manner, even if we didn't work out. And I was like, if his purpose was just to come into my life and show me this, I would be grateful for that.
Yeah, you would just throw me away like that?
No, babe. I'm just saying, like, if it didn't work out.
I know. See, if it don't work out.
At least I got the Lord. So yeah, that was kind of it. And then, of course there was some changes that I had to go through on my end, sharing that information with my family and friends. But other than that, I'm really, really happy with how it all turned out. Yep. I am.
Yep, it worked out.
It worked out.
Faith, patience, a lot of praying. A lot of I wouldn't say long nights, but just
and you can apply that to anything in your relationship, any type of difference that you're having, amongst one another. You can still have that patience. Sometimes everything doesn't have to be addressed in that moment. Not saying go to sleep angry or whatever, but I'm just saying not every large decision or disagreement has to be dealt with
settle immediately
then. Right, sometimes you need to let things settle and kind of see, okay, what's the best approach to handle this, because honestly it wasn't going to be with me and Snaxx. I needed a friend, a sister, somebody to go through that with.
We weren't going to figure it out.
Because I'm not about to listen to... And Snaxx is not even the type of person that will present something to you in a demanding or rude way. But me being who I am and being raised by a strong Black woman, I wasn't going to really be, receptive. My heart was still going to be hardened.
Yeah, no matter what. No matter what I said, it just was not going. It wasn't going to penetrate.
No, and so I had a different, way of going about it, and like I said, that can be applied to everything: relationships, friendships, whatever. Not everything has to be addressed, right then and there, and then you just pray about it. You have patience about it, and then you trust that everything's going to work out. And if it doesn't, not shoulder shrugs, because that's rude. But if it doesn't, then try to see, what lesson you learned from that situation, that experience. So, yep.
Dope process, though. I mean, it was cool. It was cool to be in it. It's cool to get out of it.
It's very good to be on the other side of it. It really is. Even though, like I said, it was challenging for me personally, because I am the one who ended up doing a very, different switch and change. And, remember Kamille, who does everything right and who does everything that, people expect her to do certain things. And I was going against that grain. And so, but at the end of the day, I'm really happy to be on the other side of it all. I really am. And so that's it, and that's all.
Facts.
Okay. So, want to wrap that up, babe? Yeah, we can wrap it up. It might have been a long one, but we can wrap it up. So we just want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of the When You See Love podcast. We hope that something we said today inspired you to find a little love in your life. You can keep up with us on these social media platforms
that Kamille is not involved with.
No, even though Snaxx got into my account and has been in.
You let me get in there. But anyway,
whatever.
Yeah,
you can
SoundCloud,
find us, guys.
iTunes.
Yes,
we're officially on iTunes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, okay. So if you have Apple Podcasts, the app, you can just pull us up. Okay. Search When You See Love podcast. We should be there. We're trying to get on Google Play, but it's not. I don't
even know what that means.
Exactly. Oh my God. YouTube, Instagram, YouTube. If you have listened this far and you made it this far, someone tell Kamille to let us start filming these episodes. Please. Anyway, so season 1, episode 3. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week, every Monday at 10. Yes, look out for us.